Hello everyone, this is a continuation video to the idea of electrode potentials and finding of cell potential. So in this video we are going to be looking at the concept of Nernst equation. Now we have discussed in the previous video how we will find the electrode potential and cell potential at standard conditions. So what do you mean by standard conditions? The conditions which we are defining as a temperature of 298 Kelvin, ions concentration, whatever the ions present in the solution or the electrode, the concentration of ions to be 1 molar, and if we have gases in electrodes, especially for the non-metal electrodes, like the electrodes of bromine, fluorine, hydrogen, so we'll consider the pressure of the gas to be 1 bar. So these are the standard conditions, and at standard conditions the electrode potentials we will indicate this with E naught. So the standard conditions, the reduction potential values of various electrodes, we have even seen, we arrange them in a tabular form from the highest value to the lowest value. We discussed that higher the reduction potential, that particular electrode will be able to act as an cathode, and lower the reduction potential, that will be acting as an anode. So we finish the discussion, and even for a cell, the E naught value of the cell will be equal to the E naught value of the RHS, because RHS will be always cathode, minus E naught value of the LHS. LHS will be the anode. So if you have not covered that video, please do take a look at it before watching this, because it's a continuation video. Now the thing is, while we were discussing about the finding of EMF of the particular cell at standard conditions, we have hinted that we can have conditions to be changed. Like we may have temperature different from 298 Kelvin. We may have concentration of ions to be different from 1 molar. So particularly we'll discuss about these two. Even for the gases, in case of non-metal electrode, the pressure may be different. So under these changed conditions, what will be the reduction potential of the electrodes, and how we are going to link it to the cell potential or the EMF of the cell. So how we will find the EMF of the cell under different conditions. So this is what we are going to be learning in the Nernst equation. Now if we have electrode where we have the reduction reaction for the electrode given here, n plus will gain n number of electrons. This is a reduction reaction, that's why gaining of electrons to produce the metal atom. And for this reaction, if we look at the standard conditions, the concentration of the metal ions will be 1 molar. If we have different conditions, then the electrode potentials will be different. So the Nernst equation for the electrode potential under a different value of temperature and under a different value of concentration of ions is given by E is equal to E naught. So E naught is the electrode potential under standard conditions, minus RT by NF into ln. Ln is a natural logarithm to the base E. Ln metal atoms concentration by metal ions concentration. So what is this term, metal atoms concentration by metal ions concentration? So if you look at the electrode reaction, for this reaction, if we express the reaction quotient, remember we talked about it in the chemical equilibrium chapter. So maybe if you are not very much familiar with the reaction quotient, you can just go back and take a look at our lectures on chemical equilibrium. So reaction quotient is nothing but the concentrations of the products raised to the suitable powers divided by the concentrations of the reactants raised to the suitable powers. This will indicate the progress of reaction, and there we will even talk about how the comparison of reaction quotient and equilibrium constant will tell in which way the reaction will proceed from that particular stage of the reaction. So here for this electrode reaction, the reaction quotient value will be the concentration of the metal atoms product divided by the concentration of the metal ions. This is what is the reaction quotient. If we are already reaching equilibrium, so when we reach the stage of equilibrium, then the value of reaction quotient will be equal to equilibrium constant Kc. since we are talking in terms of the concentrations here. So here in this particular Nernst equation for the electrode potential, the value of R is the gas constant. The SI unit value is 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin. T is the temperature, it must be on the Kelvin scale, and N is the number of electrons exchanged, and F is Faraday's constant. So Faraday's constant is nothing but the charge on 1 mole of electrons. Each electron we know will have a charge of 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. 1 mole means we'll have Avogadro number 6.022 into 10 power 23. So Faraday's constant will be approximately 96,500 coulombs. That is the value of F. So this is the expression for the electrode potential under different conditions. Now in this, I hope you can recall that whenever we are expressing the concentrations of the substances in the chemical equilibrium also, we have talked about it. The concentration or the active mass of solids and pure solvents, we will consider their concentrations to be equal to 1. We will consider the active mass of those substances to be equal to 1. So here we can see in the numerator we are talking about the active mass or concentration of the solid. So we will be taking it as 1. So thereby the revised Nernst equation will be E value will be equal to E naught minus RT by NF ln numerator will be 1 divided by the metal ions concentration. So for any electrode, this is going to be the formula we'll have. So E will be equal to E naught minus RT by NF ln 1 by the metal ions concentration. So here we can convert, if required, the natural logarithm into decimal logarithm. So natural logarithm of any number will be 2.303 times decimal logarithm. So we can also convert it as E is equal to E naught minus 2.303 RT by NF log 1 by metal ion concentration. So we can have this form also. This will be the form that we will be having the decimal logarithm. Decimal logarithm is logarithm to the base 10. So this is how we are going to be expressing the electrode potential under different conditions of temperature and concentrations of ions. Now we will see how do we use this expression to find the cell potential under the modified conditions of temperature and concentrations of ions. For that, what we will do is we will again take the cell that we are very much familiar with, which is the Daniell cell. So if you look at the Daniell cell, equation is, so we remember that Daniell cell will have the copper electrode as the cathode and the zinc electrode as the anode. So the overall cell reaction will be that the copper 2 plus ions in aqueous state will combine with zinc solid to produce copper solid. So copper we can see will undergo reduction and zinc will undergo oxidation. Here the number of electrons exchanged will be 2. So the number of electrons exchanged will be equal to 2. And also the reaction quotient value will be copper concentration into zinc 2 plus ion concentration by copper 2 plus ions concentration into zinc concentration. And we can see that this will be 1, this will also be equal to 1. So the reaction quotient Q value will be zinc 2 plus ions concentration by copper 2 plus ions concentration. So we'll just remember it. Now let us come back to the individual electrode potentials. So if you look at the cathode potential, E for the copper electrode will be E naught for the copper electrode minus RT by 2 into F ln 1 by concentration of copper ions. For the anode part, E is equal to E naught minus RT by 2 into F ln 1 by zinc 2 plus ion concentration. So in each case, like we discussed, for every electrode, E is equal to E naught minus RT by N into F ln 1 by that particular metal ions concentration. So here the value of E cell will be equal to the E RHS, which is the cathode, copper electrode is the cathode, minus E LHS, which is the anode. So what we have to do is this term minus this term. So if you look at it, so we'll try to first, so we'll have E naught RHS, which is the copper, minus E naught LHS. We'll just keep these two together. So E naught RHS minus E naught LHS, and we can see minus RT by 2F ln 1 by copper ions concentration, and here it will be minus of minus will be plus RT by 2F ln 1 by zinc ions concentration. So this is the form that we are having. Now E naught RHS minus E naught LHS will be the E naught value of the cell. So just to rewrite it again, what we will be having is E cell under the different conditions will be equal to E naught value of the cell minus RT by 2F ln 1 by copper ions concentration plus RT by 2F ln 1 by zinc ions concentration. So what we will do is we will just take the minus RT by 2F common out. So minus RT by 2F, if we take common out, what we will be having is ln 1 by copper ions. Since we have taken minus RT by 2F common, we will get a minus over here, minus ln 1 by zinc ions concentration. So what we will be having is E cell is equal to E naught cell minus RT by 2F minus of ln 1 by zinc 2 plus. So we have a property of logarithm, that is if we have minus ln 1 by A, it is going to be equal to ln A, and so this is going to be ln zinc 2 plus ion concentration minus plus ln 1 by copper 2 plus concentration. So we have a property of logarithm. If we have ln x plus ln y, then this is going to be equal to log of, we can either say log or ln, whichever it is, x into y. So finally what we will be having is E naught cell minus RT by 2F ln, we'll have zinc 2 plus ion concentration in the numerator divided by copper 2 plus ions concentration. So this is the final form. So the final form is E cell will be equal to E naught cell minus RT by 2F ln zinc 2 plus ion concentration by copper 2 plus ion concentration. So we have already seen that this zinc 2 plus ion concentration by copper 2 plus ion concentration in the discussion little while, that this is nothing but the Q value for the cell reaction. So if we want to convert this into the decimal logarithmic form, what we will be having is E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 2.303 RT by 2F log zinc 2 plus ion concentration by copper 2 plus ion concentration. If, say for example, the temperature is not changing, because here we are talking about temperature change as well as the concentration change. If the temperature is as it is 298 Kelvin, then we know that the value of R SI unit is 8.314. We know the value of F. So if the temperature is not changing, then by substituting all the values, we will get another cell potential value, where we will have temperature as it is 298 Kelvin. This is the form that we will use when the temperature is not changing, by substituting all the values. So E cell will be equal to E naught cell minus 0.059. So the 0.059 is coming when we multiply 2.303 with the value of R 8.314, temperature 298, and divide this by F. F is the Faraday constant, which is 96,500 coulombs. When we do all of it, we will get this form. So general, we will use E cell is equal to E naught cell minus RT by 2F ln zinc 2 plus ions by copper 2 plus ions concentration. So this term inside the natural logarithmic term is nothing but the reaction quotient for the cell reaction. That is how we will easily remember it. Otherwise, if the temperature is not changing, it is as it is, we have another simplified form, which is E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 0.059 by 2. Remember, why we are not simplifying the 2 here is because when we want to generalize the formula, we want to have this 2 is nothing but number of electrons exchanged. So we are going to have generalized formula after some time. So E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 0.059 by 2 into log Q value for the cell reaction. Q value here is nothing but zinc 2 plus ion concentration by copper 2 plus ion concentration. So this is what we have as the modified cell potential for the Daniell cell. And we can look at one more example. In this we have the nickel electrode acting as the anode. So we can see the cell notation, always the LHS part will be the anode, and the silver acting as the cathode, that is on the RHS. So if you look at this cell reaction equation, we have nickel plus 2 Ag plus giving rise to nickel 2 plus and 2 Ag. This is the balanced equation as per the electrons balancing method. So for this reaction, if you look at the number of electrons exchanged, of course, will be 2, and the Q value, so Q value will be product concentration. So we have nickel 2 plus ions, and this silver is anyway solid, so the active mass will be 1 divided by reactants. So nickel is solid, we will not consider it, the active mass will be 1, but Ag plus the factor is 2, so we'll have Ag plus concentration power 2. So this will be the reaction quotient value. So while we are writing the reaction quotient, we have to consider the factors in front of the respective ions, and this equation will come from the electrons balancing method, because when we write the cathode reaction separately, anode reaction separately, sometimes what happens is the electrons will not be balanced, and we have to balance them and then get the overall cell reaction equation. The reaction quotient formula will be written based upon the overall cell equation. So for this, the E value will be E cell is equal to E naught cell minus RT by 2 into F, because here also the number of electrons is 2 into F ln Q value. Q value will be what? Nickel 2 plus ions concentration by Ag plus ions concentration square. If the temperature is as it is 298 Kelvin, then what we can have is E cell will be equal to E naught cell minus 0.059 by 2 log, because we are converting this into decimal logarithm, log Q value. So Q value is nothing but nickel 2 plus ions concentration by Ag plus ions concentration square. So this is the when the temperature is not changing, as it is 298 Kelvin. So this is one more cell for which we can write the Nernst equation. Now let us look at the Nernst equation for the general cell. So general cell will be like, let it be the general cell equation. A is the factor for the species A, B is the factor for the species B, C is the factor for species C, and D is the factor for the species capital D. So here, while we are writing the Nernst equation and especially the reaction quotient Q, we have to consider the fact that whenever we have a solid or a pure solvent, for both of them the active mass will be always taken as 1. So here we can see that the Q value will be product C to the power C, D to the power D divided by A to the power A, B to the power B. So in this, if any of them is solid, means we will take the active mass of the substance to be equal to 1. So if we are to write the Nernst equation for this, E cell will be equal to E naught cell minus RT by N into F. N is the number of electrons exchanged ln Q. So Q value is nothing but C concentration power C, D concentration power D divided by A concentration power A into B concentration power B. So this one, if the temperature is not changing, it is as it is 298 Kelvin, but even before that we can convert this natural logarithm form into decimal logarithm. So what we can have is E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 2.303 RT by NF log Q. This way we can write it. We are just converting the natural logarithm into decimal logarithm. If the temperature is as it is 298 Kelvin, means we can substitute the value of R, T and F and then have this form. E is equal to E naught cell, E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 0.059 by N log Q. So this is the formula that we can remember for the temperature as it is 298 Kelvin. Otherwise, this is the general formula. E cell will be equal to E naught cell minus RT by NF. Either we can say ln Q, or for the general reaction we can remember the Q as concentration of the products raised to the powers divided by concentration of the reactant raised to the suitable powers. So this is about the Nernst equation for the general cells. Now let us look at some illustrative problems based on that. Then we will be able to understand how we are able to apply these concepts. The 0.1 molar copper sulfate solution in which copper electrode is dipped at 25 degrees centigrade, means temperature is 298 Kelvin, temperature is not changing. Calculate the electrode potential of copper electrode. E naught value is given as 0.34 volt. So what we see is for the copper electrode, of course, so we're talking about the E value for the copper electrode, Cu2 plus Cu will be equal to E naught minus RT by NF ln 1 by copper 2 plus ion concentration. So this is the Nernst equation for one single electrode. So here the value of E will be equal to E naught, which is 0.34 volt, minus, since temperature is not changing, it is 298, and for this electrode the value of N is equal to 2. So remember, when the temperature is not changing, what is the expression we have? E is equal to E naught minus 0.059 by N, N is 2, log 1 by copper 2 plus ions concentration, which is 0.34 volt minus 0.059 by 2 log 1 by 0.1. So log 1 by 0.1 is basically 10. So log 10 is nothing but 1. Log 10 value will be 1. So what we will be having is finally 0.34 minus 0.059 by 2. So we can see that 0.59 by 2 is approximately 0.03, because if you have 0.06 by 2, it will be 0.03. So 0.34 minus 0.03 means it will be 0.31 volt. So this will be the value of the electrode potential for the copper electrode. So all that we are doing is just using the Nernst equation at the temperature to be 298 Kelvin. Let us look at one more question. In this question we will be finding the EMF value of the cell. So we have a cell which is consisting of chromium electrode and iron electrode. So chromium is the anode part, always the LHS is anode, and the RHS part which is the iron electrode is the cathode. So here the standard electrode potentials of chromium is given as minus 0.75, and the standard electrode potential of iron is given as minus 0.45. We can see minus 0.75, minus 0.45. This is the iron, this is the chromium. So which is higher here? Iron is higher, so iron will be the cathode. Always relatively whichever electrode potential is higher, that is going to be the cathode part. So for this cell we can see that the E naught value will be cathode potential minus 0.45 minus of anode potential minus of minus 0.75. Totally it will be 0.3 volt. So the E naught value for this cell will be 0.3 volt. So what we have to find is E cell under these conditions. So concentration of ions is changing. They didn't talk about temperature, so we'll take the temperature to be as it is, 298 Kelvin. So first what we'll do is we will go for writing the cell equation, because in the formula we are getting the reaction quotient Q. Q we can only know when we know the cell equation. So let us see the cell equation. Anode, the chromium atoms will undergo oxidation to form Cr3 plus ions. So 3 electrons will be exchanged. Whereas the cathode, Fe2 plus is becoming Fe. So only 2 electrons are exchanged. If you want to find the balanced equation, means remember the method that we use for the balancing of reactions using the half reaction method or the ion electron method. So we will multiply the anode reaction with 2 and cathode reaction with 3, so that the overall electrons will be same. In this case it will become 6, it will become 6, so that they will be cancelling. So final cell reaction will be 2 chromium atoms plus 3 iron ions gives rise to 2 chromium ions plus 3 iron atoms. In this, the number of electron exchange will be 6. Now for this particular cell equation, the Q value will be, and remember the active mass of solids, in this case iron is solid, chromium is solid, will be taken as 1. So the active mass will be product, which is chromium 3 plus to the power 2. Why we are raising power 2? Because the factor here is 2. Divide by reactant. Reactant says only one ion is there. Iron 2 plus power 3 will come because the factor here is 3. So the E cell value will be nothing but E naught cell minus 0.0591 by N, because we are considering that the temperature is 298 Kelvin. So we'll have the formula where the temperature is maintained same as 298 Kelvin. E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 0.0591 by N. N is the number of electrons exchange. It will be 6 log of the product, the Q value, basically product concentrations by reactant concentration. And we'll see that the E naught value is 0.3 minus 0.0591 by 6 log the Q value is chromium 3 plus ions square divided by iron 2 plus ions cube. So here 0.3 minus 0.0591 by 6 log of chromium 3 plus ions concentration is 0.1. So 0.1 power 2 divided by iron 2 plus concentration is 0.01 power 3. So what we have is numerator 0.1 means 10 power minus 1. 10 power minus 1, so we'll have numerator. Basically this is 10 power minus 2 divided by denominator is 10 power minus 6. Overall it will be 10 power 4. So log 10 power 4 will be 4. So overall we'll get a 4, and on simplification we'll see that 0.0591 into 4 will be 0.24 approximately, because if you have 0.06 into 4 means it will be 0.24. So overall what we will be having is approximately 0.3 minus 0.24 by 6, which will be 0.26 volt. So we can see that this will be 0.04. So 0.3 minus 0.04 will be 0.26 volt. So this is the EMF value for the cell. So here there are two things that we have to keep in mind. One is how do we get the number of electrons exchanged? That we can get only, we cannot get it by just looking at this cell notation. We have to get it by writing the overall cell equation after balancing it, and from there only we will be able to also get the Q value. So these two things we have to be careful about. Next we look at one more question. Represent the cell in which the following reaction takes place. The reaction is basically magnesium solid plus 2 Ag plus ions gives rise to magnesium 2 plus and 2 Ag. This is the balanced equation. Calculate E cell if E naught cell value is 3.17. So for this the E naught cell value is already given as 3.17. We need to find what is the E cell. Here also they are not talking about the temperature, so we will take the temperature to be 298 Kelvin. So if you look at the cell notation, so they are asking first thing is represent the cell. So represent the cell means they are asking what is the cell notation. Remember we have discussed about this in the previous video. How do we represent a cell? Cell will be represented by having your anode part on the LHS and the cathode part on the RHS. So how do we know which is the anode? We can see that the magnesium is undergoing oxidation, that is the anode. So we'll have magnesium becoming magnesium 2 plus oxidation. We have to also express the concentration, which is 0.13 molar, and then one double vertical line. Ag plus is getting reduced to Ag. Ag plus concentration also we have to express. So this is the cell notation. So the first part of the question is over. We have to express the cell notation. The second part is we have to find the E cell. Since the temperature is 298 Kelvin, we have the formula E cell is equal to E naught cell minus RT by 2 into F ln Q value for this reaction, because the reaction is given here Ag, since it is a solid, the active mass will be 1. This is also active mass 1. So Q value for this reaction will be Mg2 plus concentration, that is the product side, divide by reactant side. We have 2 for the Ag plus concentration, factor 2. So we'll have Ag plus concentration power 2. So the cell EMF value will be E cell is equal to E naught cell minus RT by 2F ln Q value. Q value will be magnesium 2 plus ion concentration by Ag plus ion concentration square. Now since the temperature is 298 Kelvin, we can have the simplification of the entire RT by F and converting of the natural logarithm to decimal logarithm. So what we will be having is 3.17, which is the E naught value given to us, minus 0.059 by N, here is 2, log Mg2 plus ion concentration is 0.13 divided by Ag plus ion concentration is 0.0001. So here we can see that and square will come because we have Ag plus ion concentration square. So here we will be doing a little bit of a simplification. So if you look at it, this is nothing but log of 0.130 minus log of, this is 10 power minus 4, square is there, so 10 power minus 8. So 10 power minus 8 in the denominator, it will become 10 power 8 in the numerator. So log 10 power 8. So log of 10 power 8 will be 8. And this we have to be simplifying. So we'll have to simplify this particular logarithm using the log table. And then finally what we will see is the entire value of this expression will be coming as 0.21 volt. So after simplification, we will get the entire value of the logarithm to be 0.21. So as a result of which the total cell EMF will be 3.17 minus 0.21 will be 2.96 volt. So this is how we can solve problems like this based upon the Nernst equation. So here the only thing that we need to be careful about is how we are simplifying the logarithm, because in previous problems we saw that we are getting simple log values, but in this case we didn't have that much of an straightforward logarithm expression. We had to do a little bit more simplification part of it. So this is about the idea of the log and how do we solve the problems based upon the Nernst equation. Next we'll go to the relation between E naught value of the cell and equilibrium constant K. So what is this E naught value of the cell and equilibrium constant K? So if you look at the E cell is equal to E naught cell. This is what we had from the Nernst equation, minus 2.303 RT by NF log Q. If we reach the equilibrium stage, so equilibrium stage means the E cell, because no more cell reaction is going to happen, E cell value will be equal to 0, means this is going to be 0. So if we reach equilibrium means E cell will be 0 and Q value will be equal to K, equilibrium constant. Reaction quotient value will become equilibrium constant. So what we have is 0 will be equal to E naught value for the cell minus 2.303 RT by NF log K. So if we rearrange it, what we'll have is E naught cell will be equal to 2.303 RT by NF log K. So this is the relation between the E naught value for the cell and the equilibrium constant K for the cell reaction. Remember, this is what we are talking about, equilibrium constant for the cell reaction. Next, at the beginning of the discussion on electrochemical cells, we have talked about it that electrochemical cells basically work on the idea that if we have a spontaneous chemical reaction, for this of course the delta G will be negative, using the free energy change of the chemical reaction we will be able to drive current, or we will be able to do the electrical work. This is the basic idea of electrochemical cells. And now we are going to see what will be the relation between the delta G value, free energy change for the cell reaction, and the EMF value of the cell. So if you look at any typical cell, let us assume we have anode and we have a cathode. Remember, so in the beginning of the discussion of these electrochemical cells, we talked about it that here anode there will be oxidation, means electrons will be released. So the electrons are going to go from anode to cathode side, but our conventional current, we'll assume it to be in the opposite direction, because the conventional current is always taken as the movement of the positive charges. So we are moving charges through a potential difference. The potential difference value is nothing but E cell. So if the number of electrons exchanged is n, for every 1 mole of the reaction happening, then the charge on n number of moles of electrons will be n into F. The work that has to be done to move this charge will be NF into the potential difference across which we move is E cell. So this much of work is done in moving the charge. And where is this work coming from? It is coming from the free energy change, or the free energy change is nothing but it is going to be negative, which means that much amount of free energy is lost in doing this work. So the free energy change that is happening in the cell reaction is nothing but minus NF into E cell. So this much of free energy should be reduced, or the free energy change should be this much negative, and that is what is used in driving the charge. So the relation between del G and E cell is always del G will be equal to minus NF E cell. And we know for a working cell, the E cell value will be positive. Whenever we have a cell which is working, E cell will be always positive. And if E cell is positive, always the delta G is going to be negative. That is what is the significance of having a positive E cell value. So always whenever we have a working cell, for that cell E cell value will be positive. So this is the relation between delta G and the E cell value. We'll look at a question on this. The cell in which the following reaction occurs. The reaction is 2 Fe3 plus ions plus 2 I minus ions gives rise to 2 Fe2 plus and I2. Has E0 value 0.236 at 298 Kelvin. Of course, E0 itself means the temperature must be 298 Kelvin. Calculate the standard Gibbs free energy, means we have to find the Gibbs free energy at the standard conditions. We will call it as delta G0, and equilibrium constant. So we need to find both the standard Gibbs free energy change as well as the equilibrium constant. So what we will do is, if you look at this expression, what we have is that del G will be equal to minus NF E cell. If you talk about del G0 will be equal to minus NF E0 cell. For this particular cell reaction, the number of electrons exchanged, we can see 2 ions are becoming I2, means 2 electrons are exchanged. So the N value will be 2. So on substituting, what we have is minus 2 into F value is a Faraday's constant, which we can take it as 96,500 coulombs, into the E0 value is 0.236 volt. And we'll see that on simplification this will be approximately some 45,500. Coulomb into volt will be joules. So this is the del G0 value. So del G0 value will be minus 45,500 joules approximately. So this is how we can straight away find. So generally what we say is del G will be equal to minus NF E cell. Under standard conditions, the del G0 value will be equal to minus NF E0 cell. And in this question they are asking one more point. They are asking us to find what is the equilibrium constant. So how do you find the equilibrium constant? Remember we talked about this relation. E0 for the cell will be equal to 2.303 RT by N into F log K. Otherwise, since the temperature is 298 Kelvin, what we have is 0.059 by N value is 2 log K, and the E0 value is 0.236. So on bringing it to this side, what we have is 0.62s are 12, and then 7, and then 4. 0.472 by 0.059 will be equal to log K. So on simplification we will be able to find what is the value of the equilibrium constant K. So this we can use log tables to get the value of K. So this is how we can find the equilibrium constant of the cell reaction. So while solving problems like this, we see that usually we may be required to use the logarithmic tables. Next, we look at the relation between delta G naught and K. This is something that we have seen in the chapter equilibrium also, but there we have just taken it as an expression without giving the derivation part. But here we can look at the derivation part of it. If you look at the E cell value is nothing but E naught cell minus 2.303 RT by NF log Q. So if you multiply both sides by N into F, what we'll have is NF into E cell will be equal to NF into E naught cell. So here the NF will be cancelled, minus 2.303 RT log Q. So this is minus del G naught to the RT log Q. So by cancelling minus on either side, what we have is del G is equal to del G naught plus 2.303 RT log Q. So this is the relation between del G naught and then reaction quotient. If we reach equilibrium, then what happens is the del G value will be 0, because whenever you have a phenomenon at equilibrium, delta G will be 0. So if delta G is 0, then we have del G naught plus 2.303 RT. The Q will become K, because at equilibrium the reaction quotient value will be equal to K. So on bringing it to the LHS, del G naught will be minus 2.303 RT log K. So this is the relation between delta G naught value and then equilibrium constant K. So in all these problems, even in this particular problem, if we are doing the conversion of delta G naught into K or K into delta G naught, we have to be using the logarithm. So if we are given some simple numbers where the logarithm will be easy to get, then we will not have much of an issue. Otherwise we have to use the log tables. If it is a question in competitive examinations, generally they will be giving us the log values. If it's not a straightforward logarithm, like say for example, we usually remember some of the standard logarithms, like log 2 value will be 0.301, log 3 value will be 0.477. So like we'll remember these and we'll use some logarithm properties, like log of a power n will be n into log a, and log of a into b will be log a plus log b, log of a by b will be log a minus log b. Like that we'll remember some standard properties of the logarithm that can help us to get these values in a quicker manner. So this is about the Nernst equation and the applications of the Nernst equation. So with this broadly we have covered the electrochemical cell part, and in the next video we will talk about the electrolytic cells and the applications of the electrolytic cells.